Now lads, look, I understand there's pressure, okay? The West London Under-8 Second Division League Cup is not for everybody. So this is our 4th game of the day. I have maths homework to do. I just want to play FC25.
Is it still £2?
Has anyone seen my calculator? Just shut up. Sir, I want to eat my yogurt. This is a big, big game, alright? But honestly, I trust you. This is nothing that you can't handle.
What's wrong with y'all niggas? What's wrong with you?
Fuck, you know, I didn't mean handle like that. Sir, can I do the homework now? You're gonna be working from home for a while once I've kicked you in your jaws, Stefan. Yo guys, it is your boy Niran here, and welcome to FTW. This, of course, the show where I bring to you the best and more frequently the worst of what football has to offer during the last 7 days. Like Dominic Szoboszlai beefing a child, me beefing a man who has a child, and John Terry trying to earn the N-word pass. But what's been kicking off in the world this week? Well, a dangerous disease has been discovered, folks. No, not in this bed. A case of the bubonic plague has been found in the UK. Black Death. No, not what Luis Suarez writes in his diary every day. An ancient disease that wiped out millions. Patient zero? Luke Shaw, probably, given the amount of time that he's been out. This thing spent 700 years out on the sidelines, by the way, and it's come back just to stop Liverpool winning the league. I'm going to be in tears when our final game of the season's postponed in the 87th minute, just as we're about to lift a trophy. But I'm sure, given it's an international break, there's nothing else that could spell trouble for Liverpool fans.
Meeting Miguan Techniola.
In news that makes me want to repurpose my balcony, Trent Alexander-Arnold's exit to Real Madrid looks all but confirmed. The Scouser heading to the Bernabeu on a free transfer after running down his contract. There was a time where Trent moving to RM simply meant we would have finally given up on his defensive abilities at RB, but no, Real have yet again taken away anything that gives me a grain of happiness in life. Oh, how demoralizingly depressing. We thought it was Agent Trent all this time, but in actuality, it was Agent Jude. The Liverpool man will be nibbling on his testicles at training immediately. I'm fed up of these two, you know, actually, genuinely, we've been tapped up. This is what it feels like to be on the other side. Jude will have questions for Trent though when he turns up to see him just after his ankle surgery in hospital.
Touch your forehead. I've got you on Nah, Jude, that's gay.
Trent watching Real win the Champions League, that was the precise moment he decided he actually wanted to go there, and I'm absolutely fuming about it. That's definitely getting used for his announcement at the club, I already know it. It's bad news for Real fans though, with pregnant wives in the local area. Meanwhile, his actual reasons and desires for heading to the Bernabeu have finally been leaked. He's a self-proclaimed normal lad from Liverpool, won a Premier League title for the club that he loves. Normal boys aren't sexually attracted to bananas, my lad. Now, as you can imagine, the response from Liverpool fans has not been too positive. The corner wasn't even taken that quickly. Some are simply showing middle fingers to Trent shirts that they've got, and I'll be protesting to get him off the open top bus if we do win the league.
I'm about to disrupt a football match.
I don't care if I've done a video with him or not. I get bullied about my shrimp on my channel. Fans will be running into Liverpool Royal Infirmary to further aggravate the injury he got versus PSG. Meanwhile, the erasure has started already. His legendary mural has already been replaced by the real hero at right back of this squad. Corner taken quickly. Kijana Herva! And he might end up even being a bad look amongst his fellow pros. Andrew Robertson refusing to shake his hand next season, and Darwin Núñez will have already forgotten who he is because he doesn't have enough storage left after learning how to iron a t-shirt for the first time. To be fair to Trent, he does actually have some history with Real anyway. I mean, he's already won them a Champions League final after all. He's undoubtedly class, and the vision, the passing range, the creativity that Trent has is, you know, basically unmatched in the world of football. But Real fans are in for a shock with his defensive capabilities, left depressed after watching 3 games of him and Ferdinand Mendy playing at the same time.
Alexander-Arnold, fuck you.
They'll be throwing pigs' heads onto the pitch again after he gets dribbled past 11 times versus Osasuna. Now, Liverpool fans are upset. I've seen a lot of people questioning why we are. At the end of the day, Trent Alexander-Arnold has won basically everything there is to win at Anfield and has been a loyal servant up to this point. At the end of the day, it's not that he's leaving or that he wants to go to Real Madrid. Real Madrid are arguably the biggest club in the world, and you have the opportunity to win absolutely everything there. Plus, it's also going to help his England chances most likely. Not that I particularly care. I want the best players to play for my team. That's partly the reason why I'm upset. I don't care whether he's moving up the job ladder or not. But I think the main issue is that he's purposefully allowed his contract to run down to make life easier for him to leave, and we've earned absolutely nothing for him. He's been linked to this for like 3 years. He could have left at any given time, and we could have at least earned something from him, given he supposedly loves the club and has played for Liverpool since the age of 6. Like, the actual amount of money we're gonna get is gonna shock people.
$7? Are you fucking serious?
Then again, the fault also lies with our higher-ups for allowing 3 key players to leave on free transfers at the same time. It's not technically speaking his job to earn us the money. Our technical director had a shocking admission after allowing all of this to happen.
Tomorrow I'm doing 9/11.
Either way, it is depressing. I think Liverpool fans have a right to be annoyed at Trent. At the end of the day, this is probably going to ruin a legacy, but I just hope that Conor Bradley can step up or that we can replace him. Either way, as I mentioned, it is international break, which means everyone pretending to understand how the Nations League works, people hating Argentina, and a country 75% of the globe have never heard of making either Nigeria, Ghana, or Cameroon look like part-time window cleaners. It also meant the first matches in charge of England for Super Tommy Tuchel, except now it's Thomas Tuchel or something, I don't know.
Good morning, England!
His first game against Albania, a 2-0 victory, but a performance that left a little bit to be desired. In positive news though, Miles Lewis-Skelly scored on his debut. Guys that were saying he had main character syndrome because he wore a striped coat were absolutely fuming seeing the news. Honestly, Joey Barton arrested, Lewis-Skelly scoring. It's a bad week to be a reader of the Daily Mail. Marcus Rashford was picked for this game, once again proving biased towards big clubs. The man never got a look in at Manchester United, and now that he's gone to Villa. Tuchel though not really that happy with the performance of his wingers here against Albania, including Phil Foden, and it's now time to open a dialogue. Here's the dialogue. He's wank. He's got more kids than Chance has created this season. I sacks, blood, I swear down, yeah, I beg you get some plasters, my G, cause we need an active winger, do you know what I'm saying? Thomas Tuchel still went out to celebrate with the boys after the victory, and had a new way of telling his partner that he wasn't going to be home early. I've honestly had enough of Philip at this point, genuinely. I don't know what has caused the drop-off since basically Euro 2024 started, but he needs to get it together, because there's undoubted footballing prowess in there somewhere, yeah? There's a player who can be one of the best in the world, but he needs to find a way to unlock it again. Either way, Cole Palmer will be Googling the next international break to work out when he can next play for the Three Lions, although not with much success, knowing Cole. Marcus was better in the second game versus Latvia, in fairness, where I witnessed him eviscerate Latvian fullbacks in the flesh. Reece James, though, got all the headlines, scoring an absolute screamer of a free kick, basically grazing the post on the way in. Absolute perfection. No celebration, though, from the England right-back, which got people confused, but honestly, even so much as a punch to the air and he'll sprain his wrist, his whole body would be in absolute disarray if he tried an I-show speed type acrobatic flip. There was even more violence in South American football. Shock, as Brazil faced off against Argentina in World Cup qualifying. Two glorious footballing nations here. Argentina, of course, reigning World Cup champions, but Brazil, the embodiment of skill and flair. Multiple-time World Cup winners, inventors of Yoko Bonito. What in the flying fuck is that starting 11? This is bullshit, bro. Now, you know what? Actually, I'm being too harsh, all right? They may not be the most well-known. They may not be the most skillful. They may not be the most goal-scoring. They may not be the best to watch. They may not be the best passers of the ball. They may not be the best controllers of play. They may not be the best team on the pitch. Ronaldinho will have been absolutely fuming, realizing they're playing on Channel 1. Vinny Jr. confused, walking out onto the pitch and seeing Drewski in goal.
Special beyond special!
So therefore, it's not a surprise to know we need to do extended searching to find Brazil in the South American World Cup qualifying table, for also signifying the amount of kick-ups that Vinny Jr. can do. Probably shouldn't mention those just yet. Or the fact that Brazil got absolutely peppered here. Rafinha was interviewed by Romario before this game and was very, very aggressive towards Argentina when Romario said, fuck them. Rafinha then echoed those thoughts. What we didn't realise was he was actually saying that towards his own teammates, as there were 2 goals down in 12 minutes. Rodrigo was getting into a scrap with Leandro Paredes. He reminded the Brazilian he has 2 Copa Americas and 1 World Cup, whereas Rodrigo has none. Endrick was getting dragged across the floor like a spare mop. What the fuck, man? Ferenc Puskás never got this treatment. Paredes was in the thick of it again, along with Emi Martinez, this time as Rafinha was getting substituted. And speaking of Emi Martinez and his boredom at Argentina battering Brazil, he decided to bring out some kick-ups in his own area. Even his manager thought he was taking the piss. Brazil's squad makes absolutely no sense, and neither does Joe Linton's legs, coming like quagmire. And this result meant that Argentina had officially qualified for the World Cup with a win here and Uruguay drawing. Now that it's time for your Nations League roundup. Yeah, no, I know, I don't really care either, but it was action-packed, in fairness, I'm not gonna lie to you, more so than friendlies would be, so I guess it's a positive. First of all, we start with Denmark versus Portugal. Denmark winning their first leg quarter-final, Rasmus Højlund scoring, and then doing the Sue celebration in front of Ronaldo. A guy who doesn't score stealing your celebration is absolutely crazy. He says it wasn't disrespectful. To be fair, he would know what disrespectful looks like because his goal-scoring record is disrespectful. Though there was no talk of Højlund like there was with Lewis-Skelly, interestingly, when it comes youngster stealing a celebration here. Either way, a disaster class continued for Ronaldo in his first leg, missing a penalty. Bruno celebrated this penalty before it was even taken, by the way. Didn't age too well, given the penalty probably could have been saved by XQC. But instead, in the second leg, Ronaldo was yamming the ball into the back of the net as Portugal came back to win 5-2 and progress into the semis. Ronaldo returning serve with the Sue celebration. An international mid-off. Who would have thought it?
Inshallah.
Italy faced off against Germany elsewhere in a quarter-final, with Germany having their own corner taken quickly moment. A little bit too soon, I can't lie actually, given the rest of the news this week. Set piece taken somewhat swiftly. No, it's still depressing. Just to make it even worse for Italy, Germany brought a banner to the game, signifying their support of pineapple on pizza. France came back from behind to beat Croatia after losing 2-0 in the first leg. This tie also spawned the coldest picture of all time. Meanwhile, Kylian Mbappe was absolutely baffled as the mini car that brought the ball out broke down on the way back. Poor Tariq Lamptey, man, he stalled the car on the way out. It was a classic between Spain and the Netherlands as well, with a future of football in Lamine Yamal and Xavi Simons also scored, ending in a penalty shootout. Both exciting sides, I'm not gonna lie. Genuinely, I don't think international football's in that bad of a place with teams like these, you know, France. And the future of Turkey, well, he was making some headlines this week too. Turkey faced off against Hungary this week, and it saw tensions rise between Arda Guler of Real Madrid and Liverpool midfielder Dominik Szoboszlai. Turkey more than came out victors here, winning 3-0 against Hungary, and Arda Guler was quick to shush Dominik Szoboszlai directly in the Hungarian's face. Clearly something had been said, there'd been some kind of beef out on the pitch. Well, that spilled over onto social media when Dominik Szoboszlai commented on his Insta post with just 1,088. This translates to the pretty small amount of minutes that Arda Guler's actually played this season, having been a professional seat cushion for Real Madrid this season. Guler then responded once again on Insta with the combined scoreline of the two sides recently, giving one consolation goal to Szoboszlai's Insta comment. It's a shithousery award for both of them, I'm gonna be honest. Very creative from both sides. People responded talking about Arda Guler's Champions League win that he of course earned last season, though his contribution, given the amount of times he was on the bench, can be questioned a little bit. His morning schedule from 7:30 all the way through to midday looks pretty similar each day. I'm sure Szoboszlai will be bringing out one final tweet for the matter. This kid's heat map is absolutely crazy for Real this season. Now, in a turn of events that has absolutely nothing to do with the fact that Turkish fans then bullied Szoboszlai with 50,000 comments over on Insta, I'd like to say that I don't want to mess with the Turks online here. Please don't hate me because I'm gonna back your boy. What I will say is that I think Arda Guler got the better of Szoboszlai here, especially given the fact they absolutely peppered Hungary. But searching up a man's minutes after the game whilst he's still in the dressing room is complete head loss. Dominik's trim is going to be looking worse for wear the next time he steps out of a Turkish barbershop. If he loses his hairline, it's absolutely wraps. These will be the scenes if Liverpool ever end up facing Fenerbahce in Europe. Meanwhile, in North America, dramatic scenes for the US. As in the semi-final of the Concacaf Gold Cup, the USA were knocked out by a last-minute goal from Cecilio Waterman of Panama, who then brought out the coldest celebration maybe ever to celebrate with the CBS Sports team. They call Thierry Henry their idols, and honestly, this guy has got the streets. He needs to become like a director of football because he genuinely signed everybody. Clint Dempsey, meanwhile, was absolutely fuming in the corner, seeing his own nation get knocked out.
You don't know where I'm from, dog.
Thierry will be aura farming in future games when a Guatemalan window cleaner celebrates with him. Life not looking too good for Mauricio Pochettino after the match for hope in Qatar. We're going to have to name that body of water the Gulf of Panama now. Meanwhile, it's a genuine shambles for the US. They should be winning this tournament basically every time they play in it, let alone being defeated by Panama, given the infrastructure and the players that they have. Christian Pulisic, not much help here.
LeBron James of soccer.
This meant the US going into a third place playoff with an absolutely packed stadium around them. They then lose 2-1 to Canada anyway. Jonathan David celebrating by cupping his ear to the fans.
Lose disastrously cry.
Fourth in the CONCACAF as the US is absolutely mental. All this in the same week when Mauricio Pochettino said he reckons the US can win the World Cup in 2026. If it's rigged, maybe. Mate, you can't even beat Panama for fuck's sake. He said they do it with the help of Donald Trump. What the hell is Donald Trump gonna do in this situation? Will he be bursting down the right-hand side as an inside forward? Will he be dictating the players a regista? Probably not. He'll be attempting to bribe Joe Linton in the World Cup round of 16, probably. Honestly, I know the US are a host nation here for this competition. I don't doubt there'll be a lot of shooting, but not into the back of the net. And it's not been a great week for Scotland back in Europe, as they were defeated 3-0 by Greece. It's not done yet. We keep fighting. Yeah, never mind. It's 3-0. Yeah, a minute later. Yeah, safe. Don't worry about it. History was made in this game. Konstantinos Karetsas becoming the youngest player to ever score for Greece. The Genk young youngster being 17 years of age, it now means that Greece have beat pretty much the entirety of the British Isles, apart from Wales, who will be waiting to hold 5 from them by a group of Opoluses in the next couple of years. Martin Ødegaard was substituted off by Norway's manager as they won this week. He was then put in a playful headlock by his own manager. As a Liverpool fan, not wanting Arsenal to catch us up, oh no, he's sprained his neck, that's such a shame. Romelu Lukaku returned to his old ways, playing for Belgium by missing an absolute sitter. San Marino's admin was absolutely delighted at the fact they managed to score versus Romania, as he highlights a side that's actually in the top 40 in terms of the world rankings. A massive moment for San Marino. I'm telling you guys, they're genuinely getting better. Scotland's senior side were smoked this week, and their under-21s didn't fare too much better, getting absolutely battered by Iceland. Scottish fans will be getting PTSD when they do their week shopping. Meanwhile, shout out R1 getting the goal here. I assume it was a finesse effort. I'm hearing L2 managed to get the assist. For Bosnia, and Edin Dzeko was smacked in the face this week, doing a bit of damage to his face, so his former teammates were ready to tell him that he looked actually better with all the work done. Meanwhile, Moldova versus Estonia was a dramatic affair. Estonia going 2 goals up in this game thanks to Moldova's goalkeeper forgetting where his goal line is. I mentioned Norway, they beat Israel this week 4-2, in the same week that Palestine actually scored in the final minute to defeat Iraq, so a good week all round realistically. Uzbekistan were hoping it would be a good week for them as well. Their fans were gassed at the prospect that they are on the verge of qualifying for the World Cup for the first time in their history in 2026. Now, it hasn't quite happened yet, but they're still in a good position to do so, and when they took the lead versus Iran, their country's commentators went absolutely mental.
What the?
In New Zealand, and Chris Wood received one of the weirder yellow cards you're ever going to see after coming off the pitch. He decided he was going to be nice and jump into the crowd and interact with some of the fans, only for the referee to come over and book him, even though he'd already come off the pitch. Getting a yellow card for being nice, the game is gone. Andre Onana's pursuit of being the goalkeeper with the most crippling ADHD continues after bringing out this touch on international duty. I mean, it's brilliant to be fair, but the guy just can't go 17 seconds without being distracted. A completely normal tackle now between Botswana and Algeria. Meanwhile, things are just as unhinged for Chad's striker. If you don't know Chad, kind of country, sort of west middle of Africa, not really known for their footballing ability. In fact, I can't think of a single player that's ever actually played for Chad. This striker, though, goes down in history as definitely the most flamboyant and easily the one that makes the worst decisions, receiving the ball from pretty much anywhere on the pitch and just yamming it as hard as he can. Get this man in the Premier League now. He will be box office. This is what Darwin Núñez sees, actually, when he picks up the ball. Shout out to African minnows Eswatini, who drew versus Cameroon. AFCON officially makes no sense. And Somalia, the 202nd ranked team in the world. Somalia's been going through one of the most mental political situations in the country for decades now. Massive instability. They've not really had a chance to build anything in terms of footballing infrastructure. They're currently the international team in the world with the longest winless streak, but they did at least manage to pick up a draw versus Guinea in World Cup qualifying, which is a massive result for them. Not as good a result, though, for Nigeria, who are back to being underwhelming again. Just when you thought these lot couldn't disappoint you anymore. No Ola Aina or Alex Iwobi Snapchat stories today, I can assure you. There might be some Snapchat stories from these lot facing off against Mo Salah and Egypt, as pretty much the entire opposing team got a picture with the geezer after full time. Now though, your international themed goals of the week. And first of all, we start in Paraguay, where Julio Enciso made a name for himself really, scoring bangers for Brighton. He's since moved to Ipswich, but he's still bringing out the screamers on international duty, cutting inside from the left-hand side and hammering it into the top corner. We take a slight detour away from international football though now, but we do head to Spain for the Queen's League, as this gal flicks it over the defender twice before volleying it into the top corner. But finally, back to good old-fashioned screamers, as at Gambia, Mohamed Bajaber has cut in from the left and wrapped it into the top corner as well. Back in South America, and Ecuador's game versus Venezuela began with the match ball being handed over by an ice cream man. He even gave the ref an ice cream as well. Petition for everybody to eat a cornetto before Premier League matches start. It was an unfortunate situation for Arturo Vidal, the Chilean defensive midfielder, holding up 2 fingers at Paraguay supporters who were giving him grief to signify the fact that he's won 2 Copa Americas. The only issue for him is that Paraguay have also won 2 Copa Americas. Uruguay faced off against Bolivia at a stadium that's about 4 kilometers above sea level. Hence, air is very thin and playing conditions are very difficult up there. It meant that Jose Maria Jimenez of Atletico Madrid needed oxygen halfway through their game. There was no clutching at air though for this Vietnamese commentator, who decided to break into song.
Ôm lòng đêm nhức nhối, ra chỉ số đi.
And finally, a quick look out for some countries maybe to keep an eye on when it comes to qualification for the World Cup. Cape Verde, a small set of islands off the west coast of Africa, New Caledonia in Oceania, and also Indonesia, very well documented in comparison, all have a chance of qualifying for the 2026 World Cup. None have ever made it before, and it would be pretty sick if all of them did manage to. Closer to home, and Liverpool's legends faced off against Chelsea's in an exhibition match. Peter Crouch here scoring 2 goals at Anfield, more than Luis Diaz this year. Gianfranco Zola was pictured on Chelsea's account here after a defeat in this game. He's tied down for another 8-year contract. I know they need experience, but this is not the answer, let's be honest. To be fair, this is what Enzo Fernandez is going to look like after another 9 games of playing next to Jadon Sancho. The past is useless for Chelsea, the present is useless for Chelsea. What hope is there for the future? Steven Gerrard could be seen kissing the Liverpool badge when he was substituted off here. Sign him, play him 5 times, and get him a winner's medal. Play him at right back instead, actually, to be honest. Jadon Sancho received a happy birthday message from Manchester United's official Instagram account. He replied, and we've got people saying this is a soft launch of him going back. Absolutely crazy. He's going to be a United player again next season, isn't he? On the theme of Legends matches, Tottenham faced off against Milan. It saw Andrea Pirlo score an absolutely beautiful free kick, curling it right into the top corner. Class is truly permanent. And on the topic of that, Dimitar Berbatov bringing out perhaps the craziest touch I've seen of any given player, maybe in the last 5 years. One Everton fan is a little bit concerned about how things are going to go at their new stadium, given he turned up with his season ticket only to find the seat attached to his season ticket doesn't exist. Elsewhere, and Dwight Gale said that he wasn't too impressed by Steve Bruce's management of Newcastle when he was at the club, suggesting that he only took charge of training when the Saudi money came in. Steve Bruce, in return, absolutely lost it.
Dwight Gale made some comments about your coaching at Newcastle on the training field and tactical stuff. Have you heard it?
I'm led to believe, yeah. Is that the legendary Dwight Gale, is it, who missed the chance in the quarter-final against Manchester City? Is that the same Dwight Gale? Okay, interesting. Been round the block a long time. I've only managed 1,050 games, but according to Dwight, I don't know what I'm doing.
This is a Caucasian crash out, man. I can't even lie. Jed Spence was interviewed on Rio Ferdinand's podcast this week, and it turns out he does not rate Gabriel Martinelli whatsoever.
What about my boy, Martinelli? Like, we all know, you know what I mean? He's known for... Come on, man. You know what I mean? Like
Meanwhile, elsewhere in the news, Joey Barton was found guilty of assaulting his wife. This guy's a okay? Can we stop enabling him to any degree? Let him fade back into the obscurity that his very, very average career gave to him when he retired, before he failed at becoming a controversial, racist, homophobic little bitch back in his murdering brother. Fuck him and his bro. I hope his wife gets the support that she needs. I don't want to see this guy on my Twitter timeline ever again. None of us need to see him on our Twitter timelines ever again, because he's a criminal and a freak. Championship side Millwall have announced something very unique this week. They've set up their own mobile service provider. Yeah, that's right. Done with O2EE. You can head over to Millwall instead. Please leave your message after that. Maximum, you're getting 68 bytes of data, bro. 4 calls max per month. All I know is they're gonna get very violent if you're a month behind on paying your bills, and Jean-Philippe Mateta's phone will be going mental when it gets near someone with a Millwall phone provider. Down in League One, and there's critical scenes for Reading, who are on the brink, really. Their owner, Dai Yonghae, who, and there's been multiple protests for, is clearly not fit to run a football club, has been given a deadline until the 4th of April to sell the club. A once Premier League side, you know, in financial ruin at the moment, and yet another club that the EFL has failed to prevent from ending up in turmoil. Elsewhere in the EFL, and Port Vale faced off against Barrow. They felt unlucky not to get a result out of the game, losing 1-0 despite hitting the woodwork 4 times in the second half. Barrow's response was to change the scoreline, as that was clearly enough for Port Vale to take home the 3 points. Yeah, it's a shithousery award for Barrow's admin. And some wholesome stuff for Manchester United women's player Millie Turner, who signed a new contract at the club and decided to bring her dog along too. Hey Millie, listen. Can the dog play up front? Because I've seen Hoyland this season, and on the theme of women's football, and it was a big day for Real Madrid this week, as they won Bel Clasico. The first time they've ever beaten Barcelona's Femení side this week, 3-1 the final score. They were helped here by an absolutely disastrous offside call. Florentino Perez has clearly discovered women's football. At that rate, the referee might as well just launch one into the back of the net as well, make it 4-1. There's more record-breaking stuff going on in German women's football, as Hamburg sold out 57,000 tickets for a women's match against Werder Bremen. Meanwhile, Borussia Dortmund's admin was reminiscing on life without club football during this international break, saying this is what life is like without Dortmund. Honestly, given their season, this is what life is like with Dortmund as well. Shout out to beIN Sports, who actually decided to televise a 12th division game, a Sunday league match in essence. Something I've never seen done before, but I actually really love the idea of. It gives these players a moment in the spotlight, gives us a chance to watch something that's not quite as professional. Honestly, some random plumber called Jean will have been confused few seeing Thierry Henry on punditry, but if he scores, best believe he'll be running straight over. In Turkey, apparently it's illegal to drop a sou in front of Turkish police. I knew being Ronaldo was illegal in the USA, but I didn't realize it was the same in Turkey. Speaking of the US, and shout out this one El Farolito fan who's traveled from San Francisco to Utah on his own to see his beloved side play. Oakland's last remaining sports team played at their iconic Coliseum Stadium for the first time this week. All their other sports teams have left the city. Their NFL and baseball teams went to Las Vegas, their NBA team moved to neighboring San Francisco, and the scenes when Oakland scored their first goal in the stadium were glorious. The Indian Super League has announced that it is now sponsored by Pokemon. The entire brand, I don't know which Pokemon sponsored a league, but either way, apparently goalkeepers have got to catch them all. They're not allowed to drop any shots that come their way. Imagine being a shot stopper, seeing a legendary Pokemon coming at you. And elsewhere on Twitter, this isn't even a segment, but shout out Transfer Market who asked me to say this name. So here we go. Rajo Razafindrai Beharima Haranta. Yeah, no, that's important. Brother, you're Rajo now, bro, yeah? See what? Now there is time for Still 0-0, and you guys know the score by now. This is the segment of the show where I bring to you the best of Sunday League and amateur football. And honestly, you can never actually tell what's going to happen when it comes to Sunday League, because it's always a game of second chances. As is the case here with a defensive mix-up, followed by an awful back pass and a goalkeeping howler. Surely all three of them are going to get punished here. Or not, because the attackers clearly are just as bad. So if everyone get off the pitch, man. Let's just wrap it up now. On to the weird stuff, though. First of all, in Wales and at Barry Town United, they might want to find a new vice-captain, because theirs, Evan Press, has been jailed for 2.5 years for dealing snow. Yeah, genuinely an almost unbelievable situation, one that I'm sure his teammates were having to pretend they didn't know about after using his gear on a Saturday night.
Would you like some coke with that? Cocaine was hidden underneath the bacon butties.
What? Nah, I never knew that.
I'm hearing David Coots on the scene to start refereeing in Wales, actually. Meanwhile, their team talks must have been something else. But finally, we have got possibly one of the weirdest stories I've ever heard about and has ever been included in FTW. And it's the story of Gabriel Montaño, who has been banned by the Bolivian Federation for 2 years from football for identity theft. Yep, this man, unbelievably, okay, I want you to actually, prepare yourself for this one. This man was pretending to be his younger, deceased brother to become a professional. So he lied about his age. I think he said that he was 20 when in actuality he was 25. Pretended to be his younger brother and then got signed. Now apparently the club that he signed with and the president were kind of all culpable here. So the president himself has been banned for 3 years and the club was deducted 33 points. Absolutely mental, but I am wondering how the player himself got banned for less time than the president. That though is going to wrap up football this week and I hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, then feel free to slap a like on the video and of course subscribe if you're new to the channel. You can also follow me on social media. It is at @theofficialfng on Twitter and on Insta. But it's been a pleasure ranting at you guys today. Have a wonderful day, enjoy yourselves, and goodbye.